How's everyone doing today? Pete here at Spawn Fly Fish, ready for another fun fly tying tutorial. Today we are going to tie a rather simple fly that can still catch steelhead, specifically winter steelhead. Very tricky fish to catch on the fly, but another thing about this is the fly that we tied in our last class. For those of you who have reached out and requested that we videotape those classes, I'll just be honest, that's not going to happen. There's something that has to be a bonus to those that are here, and I get it. I'd love everybody to see what goes on in those classes too. Not everybody wants to be on camera. Just a list of reasons that it just won't happen. But what we can do is kind of start doing some videos and show you what we do tie in those classes. So that's the goal today. Grab your vise, grab your tools. Let's tie something fun. Let's start off with what's in the vise. Today we've got the Ahrex SA254 size 2. We also have the Spawn Super Slotted Tungsten Bead, which is a 6.3 millimeter big piece of tungsten right there in fluorescent white. Behind it you can see I've got 6 wraps of 0.025 lead-free wire. I'm going to get some 6/0 thread going here. Today I'm using black. You could use black, white, red. Any of those would be great. And I say that because we're going to tie this fly in some red, white, and black nightmare sort of tones. So at this point, I want to make sure these wires are not moving, because if the wires don't move, the bead doesn't move, and that is 100% what we are looking for. This fly is going to feel an awful lot like a woolly bugger. So if you're into fishing for steelhead, this is a great way to do it with a small streamer. You can drift it under an indicator, you can strip it, you can get all kinds of crazy until you find exactly what those fish are looking for. You don't have to tie anything super crazy. You can still have a simple fly that looks nice and catches fish. So let's get into the tail. Of course, we're going with the Spawn Polliwog tail here. The new Grizzly Red. I'm such a fan. These things are amazing, and the fish love them. So why fight it? Give those fish what they're asking for. Let's just get that tied in. As you see, I did run my thread down to just where that hook starts to curve a little, and that will give me my stopping spot of the tie-in on our tail. Nothing to it. For that little nub sticking up here, I'm going to drop it, see where it hits the back end of the weighted wires like that. Just kind of nip at an angle, and then all this will just fill in, and all this to keep an even underbody. There, looking pretty good so far. And keep in mind, when this is the fly, like I said, we tied in our latest class. And so in these classes, we'll get a range of people who have never tied a fly, never seen a fly, don't fly fish, you name it, all the way to what I would consider expert tiers. So when you have a group like that, it's sort of tough to jump into a fly and you think, well, this is going to eliminate some people. No, we don't want to do that. We want to tie something that you can keep up with. We can stop a little bit, help you along the way if need be. And it also keeps the interest of those that have tied for quite a while. So it's not always, the most straightforward version of a bug. Sometimes we play with it a little bit, but that's what, in my mind at least, that's what makes it really fun and interesting. Just got a regular old rooster neck feather here in Grizzly. I have trimmed that tip for a clean tie-in, and I'll tie it so that the concave or inner, the face of that feather is against the shank, and then the pretty or convex side is facing outward. And at this point, you could absolutely add a wire for a little counter rib on this. I'm not going to today. Again, this is a class fly. It's got to be fairly quick for everybody to tie. And we usually get 2 flies in. I'll tie one, Josh ties one, and it's not the same fly. So we tie multiples, but you get the idea. All right, so now for our body on this thing, instead of just regular chenille, we're going to add some bling into that. And so we've got the Krystal Flash chenille in black. Love this stuff. Lots of color, lots of bounce off of the reflection. And that's 100% what I want on the inside. Keep in mind you can also add some flash here if you want. In fact, let's do that. We've got this feather sitting very nicely on top, so I think we can cheat here and get this flash to come in on the sides. Typically you want to do that before the feather, but this is just like a class where you got a lot going on and you have to adjust. So, well, let's show you this flash. This is a discontinued flash that Hairline used to have, and it's Grizzly flash in black red. And I'm not saying I'm a material hoarder, but when it was available, I was a big fan. And so I do have a little bit left, and well, I'm a fan, that's all. So I'm gonna bring, again, I'd bring these both down at one time if this feather weren't in there, but the feather is. So let's just go ahead and do your side first. We'll keep it on the side as much as possible. Just get it situated right against that tail like so. And then I'll come in on my side and mirror that move. Again, trying not to trap any of these fibers. So don't do what I do and tie that feather in first. Tie that in after your flash. There we go. So I've got 5 pieces here, so I know if I've got them on the right side or not. There we go. Boom. Our flash is now tied in. Again, you don't need that. That body, that core is going to be very, very bright and flashy. But if that's something you're into, now you have another version of flash in here, and why not? I'm just going to trim this at an angle roughly the same as the tail. Get that out of the way again. So now let's get back to the chenille. By all means, you could get in here and trim a little section so it lays down nicer. But on this stuff, it's pretty malleable, and so you can really get in there, and once you catch it, just kind of keep tying and mash it down as you go, like so. And so it's not quite a woolly bugger, but it could be its cousin for sure. At this point, just going to start with that chenille. I'm going to wrap it forward in touching wraps. And like any chenille, sometimes it plays nicely, sometimes it doesn't. A little manipulation with that off tying hand does wonders. So just kind of coax those fibers back and it'll fill in for you and stay uniform. Sometimes there's a sparseness in a little spot on these flashier chenilles, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be exact. It's not a perfect deal by any means, but that's a full body. That's what we want. And creep up right under behind the bead there, but I don't want a bunch of bulk right there. So sparse right behind the bead. If you think, boy, I could fit another wrap, but it's full already, you know, looks full, great, stop right there. Don't add that extra wrap. We're gonna do something else with that little space. And now we've got our grizzly feather. We're just gonna start wiggling and working this thing through. We're going to palmer this forward, meaning I want some space in between those wraps. And with each one, I'm simply wiggling, taking my time, brushing those fibers toward the back, and then letting that quill just seep right through that chenille. And you'll know if it's getting in there or not, because you can see the quill sitting on top if it doesn't. So let's just make sure, yeah, everything's going in just the way we want it. And when I'm tying these for my box or something along those lines, and I want each one exactly the same, I always shoot for 5 wraps of usable 5 wraps, meaning if this is the 6th wrap to get it right behind the bead, most of that's going to be removed anyway in a next step. So I've got 5 working wraps, if you will, giving off those fibers for the movement that we are looking for. That springy, a little bit stiffer fiber from the neck versus a saddle, and that's just perfect for what we are trying to do. Again, if you're stripping this, it'll breathe. If you're simply floating it under an indicator to drift, it'll still breathe. That tail's going to saturate, give a lot of kick. This is one of those flies, even though it's non-articulated. Good luck getting this thing to sit still. You'd have to throw it on the bank to get it to stop moving. Even then, it'll probably still move a little bit. All right, at this point, I want to bring those fibers back. I want to create, if you will, a small little neck area. and I'm looking maybe half the width of a bead. So it's not huge by any means, but I do want a nice clean spot right there to trim that little bit of quill from our grizzly feather. Looking pretty sharp. So you can already see the leech sort of mentality, the bugger, all that good stuff. Release any of these trout fibers if you can see any. I think we're okay. So now it's time to finish this off. And a lot of times you'll see in a nightmare like that black tail, black body, and then this red collar with the white bead. So our red back here is just another variant on that. There's no wrong way, I don't think, to tie a nightmare variant. And so I'm a very big fan of that, and especially with steelhead. For those that want to fish this, here's our last element and next element, red schlappen. Got a little spot there on the tip, just trimmed her out, and I'm going to tie this in the same we did with our grizzly feather, meaning that concave side toward the shank and the convex, or that really pretty side, facing outward. Some really strong wraps there. Make sure that sucker's tied in well, and we can trim out that tip section of our feather. Again, red schlappen. And I'll show you another version of this that is tied with schlappen instead of that grizzly hackle as well. But for now, let's just get this schlappen rolling. So fibers back, each wrap, nothing but net. So on this, I'll probably get, let's say 4 wraps. And I mean, this thing will be full of this beautiful schlappen. And if you're a fan of schlappen, you already know what it does. If you're not familiar, it has the elongated fibers with the effect of soft hackle or hen saddle, meaning it has a lot of movement. And that is exactly what we are looking for. So on one more, and then this thing is done. And right there. So I don't want a bunch of excess fibers coming off. I want a nice clean tie off on this. And so I'll undo half a wrap. And now when I come in, I'm looking at the fibers that are actually part of the fly versus the quill. And that little V is where I want my thread to run once, twice. Let's do 2 more. Really make sure this thing's solidly tied in. There we go. Now I can kind of move everything back, get a couple thread wraps in the front there, and I can let go. I can do whatever I need to, get my scissor, nice clean cut, voila. If you are so inclined, and give a little comb here, make sure nothing's stuck. And I'm telling you, you can already see the grizzly inside is going to give that bounce. So as this strips and collapses, it's going to come right back. And it will look like a leech that's breathing. It'll look very much alive, and that matters. So you want things to move in a certain way and act natural. Not a lot of things that are in the river are just sitting dead still. They know better. They don't last long if they do. Let's get a couple whip finishes in here. And even if you don't fish steelhead, if you like still water, this is an amazing, amazing pattern. Get it down deep, and those fish will find it, believe me. It works very well. Bass, big trout, you name it, they'll all play. Salmon species, steelhead. Tough to beat this combination of color. And then, of course, you add in all that movement. You're ready for success. We've just got some loon, hard head clear, and we're going to cover all those thread wraps. Make this thing last a little while. I don't want to do all that and then one bite and it's gone. That's no good. And we all kind of know that's usually not the case. It's usually one tree, one log, one rock, those sorts of deals. But when everything lines up and it's just catching fish, we want to just keep catching fish. We don't want to stop to tie on a new fly because it got chewed up too much. or fell apart. And there you have it. Pretty simple. Again, if you consider it a bugger variant, tied Nightmare style, Nightmare coloration, that's deadly. That is what you need. If you know where those fish are, go get them. Get on the river, find those Steelhead. And if you, I told you I'd show you. So here's another variation tied with black Schlappen to replace that Grizzly. No wrong way to tie it. That's all I'll say. Thank you guys for joining. Again, I wish we could show you all what the classes look like on video, but I think this is a pretty cool sub-in. So this is the fly we tied last week in our class, and there you have it. If you enjoyed, by all means, hit that like button, hit subscribe. We will see you all on the water.